G'day Big V, welcome to our Youth League 2 Men podcast. Well, we dissect some possible MVP candidates as the finals are around the corner. Just 2 more weeks left after round 15 this weekend. Now, a lot of these guys have had some amazing seasons. Some have been in some very, very strong teams and polling a lot of votes. Some of these players at the top of this list have been in teams that haven't quite had amazing seasons. But guys who, like Mark said before, are sort of the key piece or the number one piece in this team. So when they do win, they're going to get votes. Even when they do lose and they have good games, they're probably going to still poll votes.
Yeah, it's interesting trying to get into a coach's heads when they're doing votes after the games because you've got to obviously respect the opposition and who's going to be that strong player. So that's where you start to think about the Jared Fibashenkos, and you think, there's not really many others at Maccabi really taking votes off Fibashenko.
No.
And let's just go through his numbers now. He's averaging just under 23 points a game, just under 10 rebounds a game, and he does pretty much everything for the Warriors. He's had a really good year after once again having a great year in 2022.
Yeah, absolutely. He even gets on the line, like 162 attempts from the free throw line. He's only shot 60% from the free throw line, but someone that aggressive, like, you have to respect it.
Yeah, he's been fantastic.
Absolutely. Another one, Jesse Umbega had a fantastic start to the season. He had some massive games early, but another team that hasn't been overly successful, not quite in the finals race at the moment. But another player who it sort of has to do quite a lot to be able to get his team over the line.
Yeah, 100%. He burst onto the scene this year, and he was phenomenal. He does have a high usage rate. He has to shoot the ball a fair bit for them, mainly getting to the rack. But, he does also turn the ball over a little bit. But if we're thinking Surf Coast and you're thinking who's their best player, it's generally going to be Jesse Umbega. So he's naturally going to poll.
Yeah, absolutely.
Poll well.
Absolutely. Another one, when you think of best player for a team, and when you say Sunbury, you're going to think of Owen Stevens.
Yeah, he's an absolute scoring weapon. And I just wonder... Sunbury have seen a fair bit of success this year in Youth League 2 competition. I just wonder, when you've got some other very handy players in there who are getting more rebounds, more assists, more steals than he is, I just wonder whether that's going to be pinching some votes here or there.
Absolutely. And now, a seasoned veteran and almost father of the game in Youth League of Josh McNally, someone who's come down from playing in the seniors and he's decided to play with some young guns here. 19 games, he's averaging 22 points per game. He gets rebounds just under 4, 2 steals per game. He can assist, 3 assists. He's quite efficient everywhere, 32 from the land of plenty. You would think he'd be pretty high in this MVP candidate list.
Yeah, without a doubt, Ted. He was a good player in Div 1 for the last 2 years. I coached against him at Melbourne University when they were Division 1. And then he went over to Coburg and he had a good year there for the Giants as well before returning to Melbourne Uni. So he will 100% be there or thereabouts. I believe he might be aging out of Youth League. So what a way to go out of youth.
Absolutely. And then, Ben Fuser's had some excellent games. I believe he's leading the lead in blocks with 2 per game. But, Nick Kiefer played the first 5 games of the season. He was absolutely dominant. So whether some of those votes are going to go more towards him at the start of the season, and away from McNally and Brewster.
Yeah, and, we then have a look at some of the... you sort of think about some of the more successful teams, and Mornington have had a really good year, and it's none other than Wolfie, the big Wolf, with 18.5 points a game, and 9 rebounds? Yeah, 9 rebounds a game as well. So you think of Mornington... And I think Matt Wolf has had a fantastic year.
Yeah, absolutely. And there's a number of other guys. Like Tyson Hamilton has had, a good year himself, an unfortunate year for Melton as a whole for this youth means teams. But, Tyson's had a very good game season this far. Whittlesey doing exceptionally well. Max D'Amato, who found himself on the starting 5 this season. He's just played, the 12 games, so... Weddy's going to poll enough votes here, but he's averaging 18 points per game. You got James Benici, I believe, also made the starting 5 for Wallen. Again, another team who is getting wins. I believe he's in the finals pitcher, but whether these guys can poll enough votes, it's going to be a big well, not issue for them because, you want to win and team success is number
Yeah.
one priority. But, some of these guys are going to be hungry for MVP when it comes down to the end of the season.
Yeah, exactly. And it'll be very interesting as the season comes to a close, who ends up taking that title.
Absolutely. Look, that'll be all for us today. We'll catch you very, very soon.